Every once in a while, I get hands on a micro-brand watch that is different than the ubiquitous NH35 base watches launched every year. Some are innovative and create some interest, while others fall short. This is the Turret 300-meter dive watch from Singapore-based brand MMI Watches. Does this watch hit the mark? Let's find out on this episode of Adventures with Time. Victor Wee is founder of MMI Watches. He currently has two watch collections under his brand. One is called Dumbo, based on its case shape that is similar to the Dumbo octopus. The watch that was lent to my channel for review is from the Turret collection. It's a dive watch named after the turrets that were added to ironclad ships like the USS Monitor, which could rotate its cannon 360 degrees. The name MMI Watches represents the philosophy of this brand and stands for modernization, modification, and innovation. I can't say I see much in the turret that represents a modernization or modification. One could argue that the date complication does have a hint of innovation, although MMI is not the first to do this. But more on that later. Let me give you the specifications of this watch, and then we'll get into the design aspects to see how innovative and interesting they are. The Turret has a 40mm 316L stainless steel case similar in shape to my Seiko Samurai, yet with softer angles. It is 13.8mm thick with a lug-to-lug of 47mm and a lug width of 22mm. On this bracelet, it weighs in at 192 grams. There is a 7mm screw-down loomed logoed crown, giving the turret a 300-meter water resistance. Typical flat sapphire crystal with AR coating on the underside and a 120-click unidirectional dive bezel. And it is powered by the typical NH35 movement. Nothing innovative here. The turret comes in configurations with and without a date, each in several colorways. I assume the aspect of the turret that is considered innovative is the date complication. And so, let's begin our look at the design of this watch with the dial. The model lent to me is the blood red date version. Hence the dial is red with a horizontal brush finish with a minute track on the chapter ring. Rectangular hour indices also in a brush finish. The date complication is implemented through a circle of printed dates, each with a small window punched into the dial. Underneath is a wheel with a single orange indicator that moves around to indicate the current date. Although not unique and therefore not innovative, this is different from virtually all the other watches out there, from what I can tell. But do I like it? Well, I like that MMI is trying to be different. However, I found it hard to determine which date window has the orange highlight behind it. The windows are small, and there isn't sufficient color difference between the blood red dial and the orange marker to make it stand out. Maybe this concept works better on some of the other colorways. I found myself hunting for the orange highlight instead of just looking at the usual fixed window as on other watches. A for effort, but D for readability. The turret has a plated steel bezel with nice movement, but I found it hard to get a good grip on the coin edge. It might have been better if the bezel overhung the case just a bit. You do get a reasonable bracelet with screw link pins with what looks to be a mostly milled clasp and 5 micro adjustment positions. Always nice to see that. They've used Swiss Superluminova C1 grade X1 on the hour indices, hands, and bezel. What does C1 grade X1 mean? According to the RC Tritech website, grade X1 is a superior grade of their Swiss Superluminova. It is stated to have a performance increase of up to 60% after 2 hours when compared to the standard grade. Interestingly, C1 is a white color of Superluminova, but is rated at just 31% the brightness of C3. I have never seen any watch brand state what grade of Superluminova they use, so I can't tell whether MMI is doing something up and above other watch brands. So do any of you Lume junkies know what grade of Superluminova other brands use? Overall, it's an okay watch if you are able to get it at the Kickstarter early bird pricing of $279 US. Currently, they are priced at $395 US, but all models are sold out. I don't know how many were produced, but one can assume that MMI will be coming out with additional watches, and I'd be interested to see what they come up with. Here are links to videos on a couple other microbrand watches that may interest you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.